We hope you like that Taxi Chronicles interview. Don't forget to share and subscribe to get the latest episode. Ever considered investing in the continent with the fastest growing economies and population on Earth? The same continent that holds 30% of the world's known natural resources. Listen to our sister podcast, Africa Investor Stories, where you hear real investors with real stories from around the world share their experience of investing in Africa. We post Monday and Thursday at 10 a.m. British Standard Time. Morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another pair of riders. We've got husband and wife and a little one sleeping. And they're in the restaurant game. They're in quite a chain of restaurants, and they're just going to talk and tell us about what it's like, how they got started, and what motivates them. So nice to have you here today.
Hiya.
Got it?
Yep.
Okay. So tell us, why the restaurant business?
I kind of just fell into it. Good friends of mine from university wanted to start his own business, and I was in a position where I had a bit of money saved up and didn't really know what I was doing with myself, so decided to get involved. And then we got a few other friends on board, and 8 years ago now we opened our first restaurant in Lower Clapton.
What's your specialism?
What, mine personally, or the restaurants?
Restaurant.
We specialise in sourdough pizzas.
Sourdough. Do you want to elaborate on what sourdough is? Is it like their medieval dough?
Yeah, effectively, it's how dough was first made. So, in really simple terms, sourdough's a lot more flavoursome and breaks down in your stomach a lot easier than regular modern day commercial dough. So the pizzas, you eat a whole one of these pizzas and it doesn't leave you feeling like you need to sleep for 2 hours.
Less lethargic.
Very much so, yeah, and there's much more flavoursome as well than regular dough.
How is it made and why is it called sour?
Right, well, I'm not the expert in this, but effectively you have a starter culture which has various natural occurring bacteria and stuff in it. It breaks down enzymes and yeasts, and that's the base for the dough, and then you add flour, water, salt, olive oil, and create a nice dough. Let it ferment for about 48 hours.
It's all about the fermentation.
And yeah.
I love the way the wife jumped in.
Exactly.
That's
the key to it.
It's almost partially digested, and it gives it a really it gives it its flavor. It makes it easy to digest. You feel better eating it. The whole thing with immediate, made bread is very new. Sourdough is how bread was made historically for hundreds of years, and it's much easier on your system, and it makes for a much more flavorful pizza.
Yeah.
Okay. Does the wheat itself have to be specially grown in any way, or is it just normal run of the?
We use a mixture of heritage wheats and just organic wheat from a company called Shipton Mill.
And is the process exceptionally longer than the normal?
Yeah, it's a little longer, but you just make the dough, once you get into a groove, you make the dough 48 hours in advance, and yeah, you can work what's called bulk fermenting, where you just have one huge dough ball before you divide it up for the individual pizzas. You let that ferment, and and then it's ready to go.
And does it taste a bit sour?
It's got a sour tang to it, yeah.
You say you've been doing this, for 2 years now?
8 years, yeah.
What's the hardest thing that you've learned that you wish you knew when you had started?
Repairing the...
Build things to last. We did all the renovations ourselves in the restaurants, and spend half the time fixing things which we did badly in the first place.
Is your background builders?
No.
Okay,
Hence why things are breaking all the time.
So do you wish that you employed someone to do it?
No, we didn't have the money. We opened the first restaurant on a shoestring budget, so we weren't in a position. We obviously hired professionals for things like electrics and plumbing, but when it came to sort of simple things in a restaurant, painting, decorating and stuff, breaking down simple non-structural walls, we did that ourselves.
Did you consult YouTube?
Yeah, lots of YouTube and Google. Taught myself how to tile. Know a little bit about everything now from doing it.
If you go to the restaurant in Bethnal Green, Mike would probably drag you to the bathroom immediately. He's so proud of his tile work. And it is actually beautiful tile work, but that was a lot of DIY that weekend for you.
Okay. So you've got an understanding wife then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because not cursing in the bathroom till you get it right.
Exactly.
The thing is, I wouldn't do any of my DIY in my own home.
No.
I'd do it in a restaurant where I can accept a few little imperfections here and there, but at home it would drive me nuts.
Is that because the wife needs a certain standard?
Probably because I need a certain standard.
He's got bigger standards than I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I would allow it.
Mm.
I mean, there's when you see a lot of restaurants in London, the fit outs are several $100,000, and it requires a lot of private investment, and it totally just inhibits your ability to make a decent profit. So they did it very DIY, like you said, shoestring budget, but it's 4 friends, 5 friends that did this together without using, investment money. And it's a true locally owned business. Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
Okay. That's a good sales pitch.
Yeah.
From the wife, the true American. You're American, yeah?
Yes, I am.
American fashion.
Yes.
Where are you from in America?
I'm from California originally.
Okay, that's nice. That's good.
But I've been here for about almost 8 years. So
Yeah.
I met you shortly after you had started this.
What was your background before the restaurant?
Is that me?
Yeah.
Slightly random one. I played online poker as a profession for 7 years.
Okay, that's interesting. For 7 years, so you must be good.
Yeah, well, compared to the players nowadays, not so much, but yeah, I made a decent living from it. That was the money I'd saved up to put into a restaurant was from online poker.
Okay, so you gave up the online. You still play the online poker?
No, I haven't played in years now. One of the reasons I got involved in a restaurant is because I knew there was no future in online poker. In the time I was playing, you could see it getting tougher and tougher, just harder to make money. So it was effectively like my exit strategy from online poker is getting involved in a restaurant business.
Okay. So you said you're not as good as the new guys coming along.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, it's basically with online poker, it's a really simple way to look at it is like the losing players run out of money and the good players stick around. So over time, the game has just become, there's fewer and fewer bad players and more good players. And it's now sort of at the stage where only kind of the elite players can make a substantial living. Whereas, go back 10, 15 years ago, you didn't have to be that great to make a really good living from it.
There's enough casual players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before we go, I sense that online poker is another episode.
Yeah.
Go into that quite deep. We've still got time. So tell us, what's the name of the restaurant and where can we find you?
It's called SodoPizza. We've got locations, restaurants in Walthamstow, Clapton and Bethnal Green, and then we also run the kitchen in a couple of pubs. We've got a pub in Hammersmith called Stonemason's Arms where we run the kitchen, and also a pub in Hoxton called the George and Vulture.
You open every day?
The pubs every day. The restaurants, we close the restaurants on Mondays.
Okay. And can they find you on Uber Eats or anything?
Yeah, we're on Uber Eats and Deliveroo. And then for our social channels, we're on Instagram. That's the main one.
And what's the name on Instagram?
SodoPizza London.
Do you want to spell that?
SODO, short for sourdough pizza, London.
Okay. Thanks a lot for that. Now, you've been a great guest. My last
Thank you.
question is, what's the impact you want to have in the world?
Not that ambitious that we're going to have a huge impact on the world as a whole, but from a local perspective, just keep providing a really nice restaurants or local people to go to. We source all our ingredients as locally as possible, try to minimise our impact we have on the environment, and yeah, just a lovely place for people to go in the evenings.
There's a lovely lady of the house wants to add anything to that?
No, you said it perfectly.
Okay.
I'm so proud.
Well, thanks a lot for that.
Thank you.
And we wish you well.
Cheers.
Your life experience, good or bad, is a gift when you share it with others. At Taxi Chronicles, we allow real riders with real stories to share their gift. So hopefully this episode will intrigue, enhance or inspire you. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.